The famous inventor, Thomas Edison, reportedly tested thousands of materials before successfully developing a practical electric light bulb. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times trying to get this bulb we are looking at. He failed over 1,000 times before eventually getting it right in 1879. One thing that all of us have in common is that we have faced moments when giving up seemed easier than going on. There are times when our prayers appear unanswered. There are times when sicknesses linger. There are times when griefs overwhelm us. There are times when family problems persist, or when the future seems uncertain. The topic of this morning's sermon says, when faith refuses to give up. When faith refuses to give up. In the scriptures before us, all the places we read, beginning from Genesis chapter 12 in our Old Testament reading about the call of Abram and the promise of God upon Abram. And then to where we read in the epistle, Romans chapter 4, Paul commending Abraham's faith and persistence. And then to the gospel passage of Matthew chapter 9, from verse 9 through 13 and 18 through 26, about Jesus calling Matthew, the tax collector, and then the woman with issue of blood for 12 years, and then the leader of synagogue calling on Jesus just to come, even though his daughter is dead. He wants Jesus in the house. The places I just mentioned now teach us a powerful lesson. God often does his great works through people whose faith refuses to quit. In Genesis chapter 12, like I said, God calls Abram to leave everything familiar to him, his country, his people, and his father's house, and to go to a land that God would show him. I want you to notice something remarkable about this call of Abram by God. Remember, Abram happened to be over 70 years when he had this encounter with God. I always tell people, there is no, oh, I'm too old, I've retired. There is no retirement in following God. There is no retirement in the service of God. No retirement in the service of God. God did not give Abram a detailed map. Just know this. When God called Abram, he didn't give him a detailed map. He simply gave him a promise. Abram could have said, Lord, I am too old for this. I have arthritis. I'm over 70 years. I cannot stand long. I cannot walk so long. Abram didn't say that. Abram didn't say, I am comfortable where I am. You know, I'm senior citizen. Where I'm sitting, where I'm staying, I think I'm okay, Lord. Abram didn't say, oh God, I need more information. before I move. Clarify to me. I don't understand this message. Are you sure, Lord, you are the one speaking? He didn't say that. You know, I always say this. God uses the foolish things of the world to confront those who think that they are wise. God doesn't call the qualified. God qualifies whomever he calls. Abraham didn't say all these things. He didn't tell God to see the reason why he should not do it. Rather, the Bible tells us that Abraham went as the Lord had told him. He went. When faith refuses to give up, that is the topic. Faith is not having all the answers. Faith is trusting God when you do not have all the answers. That is what faith is all about. I'm sure many of us here drive. If not everyone here. We all drive. Imagine driving at night. Your headlights may illuminate only a few hundred feet ahead of you. Yet, you can travel hundreds of miles because the light keeps moving with you. Even when you put the high beam, it has a limit. It can go. But because it moves with the vehicle, that you keep moving. God often guides us that same way. He does not always show us the entire journey. He simply gives enough light for the next step. That is how God works. When faith refuses to give up, when faith refuses to give up, it keeps walking even when the destination is not yet visible. Paul reminds us in Romans chapter 4 that Abraham believed God's promises even when they seemed impossible. He believed. Abraham and Sarah were advanced in age. Humanly speaking, the promise of a child appeared dead. How can you tell someone that is 90 years, over 90 years, almost 100 years, that is going to give birth to a child himself? And the woman that is over 90 years, that she's going to give birth by herself. It's impossible. If it's today that this revelation comes, doctors will laugh. Scientists will laugh. They will say, get out of here. You don't know what you're saying. But Abraham believed in what Paul calls the God who gives life to the dead and calls into existence the things that do not exist. Abraham looked beyond his circumstances and fixed his eyes on God's power. That is what faith that refuses to give up. That's what it does. There is a difference between looking at your problem and looking through your problem. When you look at your problem, you might surrender because your focus is on the size of the obstacle. But when you look through your problem to see God, faith survives because it focuses on the greatness of God. I always say this to people. Whatever problem you encounter, you find yourself into, as long as you didn't cause the problem by yourself, don't look at the problem, because Satan will want you to dwell on that problem so that you will not make a move. So you will be crying. Your heart will be shattered. You'll be saying, what is all this? Is God alive? That's what Satan wants you to be saying. As long as you didn't cause the problem by yourself, maybe out of sheer wickedness, out of conspiracy, backstabbing, and so on and so forth, they cause the problem for you. It's not your problem. Look beyond that problem and know that there is something God wants to do. There is something He wants to show people through such problems. When faith refuses to give up. In the gospel passage we read, we meet a woman who had been suffering from hemorrhage for 12 long years. She has spent all her life savings seeing specialists. 12 long years. Think about it. 12 years of pain. 12 years of disappointment. 12 years of doctors, treatments, and frustrations. 12 years of feeling forgotten. 12 years. 12 years is not 12 days. Many people would have stopped hoping. But this woman refused to surrender her faith. She said to herself, if I only touch his garment, I will be made well. Let me tell you, it's not what people say about you that matters. Rather, what you say about yourself. People can say all kinds of things. In your presence, they can pour encomiums on you. And you think you're with them. And they are with you. At your back, they will slander you. They will murder your character. They will kill you. What you say about yourself is what matters. That's what God looks up to. It's not what people say about you. Once you're honest to yourself and you are in good relationship with God, keep shining. Keep going, because people will still have something to say. Whether you are the most righteous person on earth or not, they will have something to say. Whether you are angel or not, they will have something to say. Keep going. That is what you should know. This woman resolved in her heart to make things happen for herself and not seeking anybody's validation or whatever. She sought God's validation. She refused to surrender her faith. She pushed through the crowd. She reached out. She touched Jesus. Remember, she didn't sit where she is and says, oh, if only he will touch me. No, he didn't say that. She didn't say that. Rather, she said, if I only touches his garments. So she makes a move. She goes. She puts her faith to work. And the rest is history. You don't dwell where you are. When faith refuses to give up, and immediately she was healed. What makes this woman's story remarkable is not merely the miracle, it is her persistence. She persevered and persisted. Someone once said, faith is believing that God can. Faith is not believing that God can. That's what the person said. Faith is not believing that God can. Rather, faith is refusing to stop believing until God does. Faith is refusing to stop believing until God does. The woman's faith refused to give up, and her perseverance led her to her miracle. Persistence transformed what seemed impossible into reality. Likewise, faith continues trusting God even when answers are delayed and outcomes are unclear. Faith continues trusting God when faith refuses to give up. In part of the gospel, in Matthew chapter 9, The leader of the synagogue, of course, the leader of the synagogue happened to be a wealthy guy. A wealthy person. He has everything. The leader of the synagogue came to Jesus with heartbreaking news. His daughter was dying. Before Jesus arrived, the child has died. At that moment, many people would have concluded that it was over. She has died. So no need troubling Jesus. The baby is dead. But Jesus said, in effect, it is not over. When people think your life is over, it is that time you will let them know your life is not over. By standing stronger, by focusing. If you try this one, it didn't work, try another. Keep trying. Keep trying. Keep trying. It will work. Abraham Lincoln, one of America's president, you know how many times he contested election? More than 7 times. He will contest, he will fail. He will contest to the extent his friends made jest of him. Even when he went to borrow money from one of his friends, he refused to give him, to borrow him. That didn't deter him. He kept his faith. He kept growing. He kept going. That's what I want you to know. God is saying it's not over. When people think, oh man, this problem she has encountered, that is the end of her life. No, it's not. But if you believe it's the end of your life, so it will be. Because life and death is in the power of what? The tongue. So what you say by yourself, God establishes. Jesus entered the man's house, took the girl by the hand, and she arose. Someone that they've ruled out. Her life has gone. She is dead. Everything has gone. Faith often reaches its greatest test when circumstances declare that all hope is gone. That is when faith works. When circumstances around you, you didn't see any route of escape around you, that is when faith works. Faith does not work when you have the answers. No, it doesn't work like that. The world says it is finished. Faith says God is still working. The world sees a dead end. Faith sees an opportunity for God to open a new door. When one door closes, another one is going to open. When you lose that job, you think you love so much. And then all of a sudden, something came up and you're sacked. And you are thinking your world has collapsed. And people will be saying to you, aha, look at, it serves him right. It serves her right. You see that? Let's see how he's going to get up again. Prove them wrong. Prove them wrong. Because God is still working. The world sees a dead end. Faith sees an opportunity for God to open a new door. You see, there is this hymn I like so much. It says, my faith looks up to thee. My faith looks up to thee, thou Lamb of Calvary, Savior divine. Now hear me while I pray, take all my guilt away. Oh, let me from this day be wholly thine. That is it. Abraham refused to give up on God's promise. The woman with the issue of blood, the hemorrhage woman, for good long years, refused to give up. After 12 years of suffering, she refused. The grieving father refused to give up even when death entered his home. And in every case, God proved faithful. Perhaps today, someone is carrying a big burden. Perhaps you are praying for a child. You are tired of boyfriend and girlfriend, and you are praying now for wife material or husband material. Perhaps you are praying for a family member. You are praying for your health. Perhaps you are praying for God to give you a brighter future. You are praying for a job. That job that you love so much, you are praying for it. The message of today's scripture is very simple. Keep believing. Keep praying. Keep trusting. And keep following Jesus. For the God who called Abram, the God who healed the woman, and the God who raised the little girl is the same God who walks with us today. When faith refuses to give up, it discovers that God never gives up on his people. You know that? Do you believe that? You believe that?
For prayers and counseling, call, text, or WhatsApp us at +1 908 941 6688. Email us at office@messiahplainfield.org. Check us out on our website at www.messiahplainfield.org. Like us on Facebook, the Anglican Church of the Messiah, Plainfield, New Jersey. Follow us on X, Twitter, at Anglican Church 6. Subscribe and watch our YouTube at Anglican Messiah TV.